So there are people who believe that because we've got gay pride, there should be an equivalent straight pride in order to celebrate straight sexuality.
From at least what I can gather, it sounds like, oh, let's have a party and celebrate that we are straight. But I'm not sure whether the people actually understand this is not where pride comes from. Pride is not coming from, let's have a party.
No, and I think it's just ridiculous because when you think about when you think about the purpose of pride. I mean, obviously, when Pride first started, it was a very political thing. It was it was about protesting the oppression of gay people, and it was about fighting for gay rights. So this was a political movement. Obviously, more and more, it's become less of that, and it sort of encompasses more things than just about fighting for gay rights. It represents the fight that went on before, but also now it's about celebrating where we've got to now, and then about celebrating equality and inclusiveness and promoting those values. But when you think about the whole concept of a straight pride, what is the premise of it? Is it just about celebrating sexuality? But you're talking about a group of people who've had all the rights that they've enjoyed, since birth. You've not had to fight for any of their rights. If you want to walk down the street holding the hands of your straight partner, you do that. You're fine. You don't have to worry about it. You've not had to worry about your marriage rights and marriage equality. You've had that from it's a birthright. All of those things you just have it. And I guess this is where I find it really difficult to understand, for making that comparison. Where does it come in?
There is no comparison. I think what most of those people also forget, that pride is a global thing. And whilst, a pride parade in London might now look much more like a big party, but then pride happens in many, many other countries, and there's so many countries around the world where there are pride parades, where people attending the parades actually are still risking getting sworn into prison, oppression, because they still don't have the same rights than gay people or LGBT plus people enjoy in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think this is totally forgotten, and I think it's an absolute ridiculous idea, because I actually think it undermines what has been achieved for the LGBT plus community, because it's kind of just making the entire idea ridiculous, of pride, saying, we have never been oppressed, and so we need to celebrate that. That doesn't make any sense.
No, but I suppose as one person who commented in the comment section on Facebook, one chap who identified himself as being straight said that he saw it as just being a celebration of sexuality. And he couldn't understand, after I responded and talked about a bit about what pride was, the meaning of pride and what sat behind it and why it was important to the LGBT community. He said he couldn't understand how a parade would, for example, spread inclusiveness. He couldn't understand how it would impact on LGBT rights, and he just couldn't get it. And I think part of the big issue is that, regardless of how far we have come and how mainstream LGBT rights have become, and the fact that, it's widely accepted, there are lots of people who are in support of that, whether straight, gay, bi, whatever, who support LGBT rights. But there are still people who just don't get it. And these people are not overtly homophobic or anything, because he didn't come across as that. And in fact, he was very empathetic in terms of the homophobia that people would have to face and the discrimination that people would come up against. And he did say that he definitely didn't support that, but what he just couldn't understand or grasp was the whole concept around gay pride as a movement, as an establishment that says discrimination will stand against that, and we are for rights that impact on the wider LGBT community. And he just couldn't get it. He just couldn't get what the premise of pride was.
Because they just see, from my point of view, they just see it as a big party. They lack the context that actually Pride used to be a demonstration. And it used to be a demonstration which was several times violently stopped by police. It looks as, they are wanting to celebrate heterosexual pride because they feel somehow, discriminated against, which they're not. I wonder though whether Pride in the UK maybe actually is too much of a party now, and maybe actually misses to still transport the messages why we're actually doing that. Because when you look at the events happening, it's actually just a massive party with millions of people. But where's the political element? I think it's fading, and maybe that's the reason why, especially younger people who can't remember, just don't see anymore where that's actually coming
Absolutely.
from.
And I think the thing about it is that it's also become hugely commercialized. It's become a vehicle for major brands to get their name out there and to reach an audience that perhaps otherwise they might not have reached. And so it's become a huge commercial vehicle now, rather than being, like you say, what it's the roots of what it's meant to be for. So it's not surprising that, with the fact that we've sort of lost the whole political element and the real roots of it, which is about, marching in solidarity with your fellow LGBT community and standing up for LGBT rights. You've lost that element to sort of become it's in the background rather than being at the front of what it all stands for. Think about the wider world. This is not just about what happens here at home, but we've got people in Chechnya, we have people in Russia, we have people in Africa who are still oppressed and facing a huge amount of discrimination. They can't have pride in the same way that we have. For them, it's still a freedom fight. It's still a fight for equality on all fronts. And I think it's about taking a moment and actually going back to the essence of what it's about and saying, actually, this is us standing with our fellow LGBT community across the world and fighting with them and having that unified voice that says, we will not stand for discrimination. We will stand up against homophobia, and we will fight with our fellow LGBT comrades.